So we go from that to Punk and kind of this whole Mania lineup being blown up. Because we talked about this 2 weeks ago. What do you do if you have to break glass in case of emergency if Rollins gets hurt and he can't go? Well, sure enough, he can probably go. It might be touch and go come Mania, again, like it was in 2017. But it looks like he can probably go. And then Punk can't go because he got hurt in the Rumble and tore his triceps again, the same triceps he tore from 2 years ago. I mean, before I get into WrestleMania itself, let's talk about this Punk injury because it's super fucking unfortunate. Obviously, as a fan of Punk myself, I'm disappointed. I mean, being a Punk fan, you're a sports guy, Mr. Marceau. Maybe you can find a proper analogy. It's fucking tough. It is tough. I don't know. It's like being a fan. It's the equivalent of being like a fan of the Mets. But like you got your highs of the highs. You got your lows of the lows. He's back. He's suspended. He returns. He gets hurt. He goes back to WWE. You know, this happens, and he quits, and he goes off, and then he gets hurt again, then he wins this, and it's like, oh my god, it is so fucking difficult being a CM Punk fan. Love the guy, but it's just one heartbreak after another, and now he's going to miss WrestleMania. Like he said in his promo on Monday, which was a great promo, there's always next year. So I don't know if he's going to main event next year. This was his best shot, along with Seth Rollins, but, you know, he's hurt, there's nothing you can do. The guy's seemingly made of glass. It's his third major injury in 3 years, and under 2 years, actually. We got to be realistic about this. I'm not saying, oh, hang it up, Punk, retire. Like, I'm not saying that. Someone thought I was saying that in the tweet the other day. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying we got to be realistic here. Any company, even before he came back, had to have been suspicious, specifically the top two, AEW and WWE, had to be skeptical about using him again because, one, he's very injury prone. He proved that in AEW. And two, he was just a hothead as far as the backstage stuff goes. Now, we haven't heard anything about that in WWE so far, and he's been back for 2 months, but the injury stuff already proved to be a problem, and he had one fucking match. He was in there for 10 minutes, and he got hurt. Off a simple move. This is not something dumb that he did. It was a simple fucking move. So what is stopping him from getting injured again when he comes back at the end of the year in a couple months, whatever it might be? I mean, we just have to assess the reality of the situation here. I think he should come back, and they should use him as a top star. He obviously has to be a part-timer. If he's wrestling every week at house shows, he's fucked. He's going to get hurt again within a matter of weeks. But WWE probably knew what they were getting themselves into here by bringing him in. This shit happens. I'm not saying cut ties with him by any means. But if he suffers another major injury after this, it might be time to call it quits. I don't know.
No, definitely. I mean, not similar situation. It was like, I feel like with this, like you said, coming back, suspended out. It's like Rey Mysterio when I was a kid. Like, he'd always get this momentum, blow his knee out. Blow his knee out. Like, he blew his knee out like fucking like 6-7 times when I was a kid and was like great to see him back, hurt again. Like he was constantly injured. Cody even said like stop being a Cody Rhodes fan. I mean, not wrong. I mean, the last couple of years have been a fucking roller coaster. Even though he's over, like he just hasn't really won the big one. So definitely get that. Like I said, he's coming back, seemingly going to face Seth. He gets injured. So definitely not ideal. I mean, like you said, he came back, got hurt on a simple move. Don't want him to say hang it up specifically, but you really gotta like bandy around it. Like I'm pretty sure he got hurt in his last match against Joe, didn't he? Before he got suspended.
Nah, I don't think so. He got hurt in his last match against Moxley in 2022.
Against Moxley, that's who it was. Okay. I mean, I just feel like you said he got hurt, he broke his foot jumping in the crowd. Like he just is unfortunately injury prone at this point. So
he also just has terrible luck too. Yeah.
Yeah, terrible luck too. But like at this point, if you're gonna bring him back, like don't have him do anything. Just get him in the ring at WrestleMania. Maybe he won't get hurt. Maybe he will. But Jesus, that's crazy,
dude. Like, but this is what I'm saying. Like I say, oh, we can wait till next year. They may not even put him in the main event next year because if they build around him and he gets hurt again, you know, I mean, at the same time, it is worth acknowledging. Well, one, he's 40-something. You know, Joe's been hurt a lot. He's the AEW World Champion. He's killing it right now. I'm not saying it's not an age thing. I'm not being ageist here. Don't do anything because he's older and he's injury prone. No, I mean, Samoa Joe's injury prone. Don't not put the belt on because of that. Orton's been injured a ton. Edge has been injured a ton. Rey Mysterio got injured a ton. And a lot of these people, I mean, you would know about that. A lot of these people went on to main event multiple WrestleManias, win multiple world championships. Punk's in a different spot. The thing with Punk is that it's not the fact that he suffered injuries in his career. It's 3 major ones in under 2 years. I mean, you can name any of the people I just mentioned. They never, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they ever got hurt as often as CM Punk has. And CM Punk has barely wrestled in the past 2 years because he spent the last 2 years, at least half of it, not in any company because he was suspended or fired. So, I mean, it's just not good. So yeah, man, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough, but he will be back next year. Maybe you can hold off on him and Rollins until he comes back. The Drew thing is interesting. I got to mention this. Drew's just outstanding. He's been doing great heel work. His promo on Monday with Punk was great. Punk's out there crying. Drew saying, I prayed for this. Man, that was just great. And then he's like tweeting about it. That was fucking funny. I really hope Drew resigns because that is the match to do when Punk comes back, hopefully for SummerSlam. I mean, how do you not do that match when Punk comes back? And they had that great exchange on Raw a couple of weeks ago that was really, really good as well.
Yeah, I think at this point, like you said, for Seth, I think you just got to do him and Drew at WrestleMania.
You think so? Okay.
I mean, I don't know who else you really do at this point. I mean, maybe Gunther, but I feel like it's kind of like rushing it because that's clearly not the plan. So I think Drew, maybe just re-sign him, like you said, do him and Seth. Maybe he gets that title run that he hadn't gotten. Then you can do him and Punk when Punk gets back. But at this point, I would do him and Drew. I mean, I like Gunther a lot, but there's other circumstances. I don't even really know what you're going to do with I guess I don't really know what you're going to do with Gunther either. But I would do him and Drew at this point. I think it makes sense. Drew's like killing it as like this like dastardly heel, and I would do it.
Do you have Drew win at WrestleMania?
I would.
Is that the main event?
No.
What's the main event of night one?
It would have to be probably Bayley and Io.
Bayley and Io, not Becky. I mean, listen, Bayley, I think it'd be pretty shitty. If the women go on last, I think it'd be pretty shitty if it was Becky and Rhea. If Becky didn't win the Rumble. I mean, that might be the bigger match on paper.
No, that's definitely the bigger match, but I mean,
Bayley won a Rumble.
It's supposed to be the main event. Yeah. I mean, I know they like, another main event. Like, no, it's supposed to be the main event. Yeah. They should be the main event of the first night, and Roman and Cody should be the main event of the second night.
I mean, we don't go off of, this isn't fair. Like, we got to talk business here. I mean, it really fucking sucks for Rollins, because you know that match was headlining, and if he doesn't get the main event this year, I mean, I guess you could say the same thing for next year. Like, you could do it next year, but, I mean, he's ready to go this year. It's not really his fault, but I don't know. I mean, I still say Rollins main events, but if they go with Bayley and Io, you won't get any complaints out of me.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like we said, like, it's supposed to be for the main event. There's 2 nights. The women should get their... Bayley should get her moment, and Cody should get his. So, I mean, it is what it is.
And there's no doubt about, Roman main eventing night, too. He's gotten... It's funny.
Especially after Rhea didn't get her moment last year.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they had the better match, but, like, the story... I mean, the story was huge. Like, it was literally the biggest thing going, so I get that to a point. But this year, there's, like, Seth versus whoever he faces, the story's not going to be bigger than Bayley and Io, what they've been basically building for over a years at this point.
Yeah, no, they couldn't they couldn't have Rhea and Charlotte going last. They had an amazing match last year, but that match properly closed the show. This year it's tough. You really have an upward, like you have 3 potential main event matches with whatever Rollins does, and then the 2 women's matches on night 1. So they haven't had a women's main event, I want to say, since 2021 with Bianca and Sasha. We've only had 2. They did it in 2019 and 2021. They didn't do it in 2022. Ronda and Charlotte was kind of going to go on last, and then the Stone Cold stuff happened, which was way better anyway. And then Charlotte and Rhea last year were upstaged by the tag team match, like you said. And I mean, Charlotte's already main evented, so I don't really have a lot of sympathy. But I thought Charlotte and Rhea would definitely main event because they got screwed, or at least Charlotte did the year before, and she didn't get the main event that year either. Against the Royal Rumble winner, but that's she's not main evented this year. She won't even be part of the show. So with Rollins, I mean, with Drew, do you just have him win the chamber match? Is that how you set that up?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know where else you get there, but like I said, I like Gunther. People are like, have him hold the title and beat Rollins at both. Yeah, don't do that.
What, with Gunther? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said. So I'm thinking, that's what I'm saying. I think with Gunther, I would do that because, I mean, I was thinking Rollins and Gunther anyway, like 6 months ago, before Punk even came back, and then he did, and then you don't do the match. Because they were going to do Punk and Rollins. But, then that would be under the premise that Gunther would have dropped the title by now. The only issue that I have with my idea is that if you do a title for title and Gunther wins, does he just relinquish I want him to defend both, but I don't want him to defend or relinquish the IC title after 2 years. I mean, I think he should be beaten for it.
Yeah, but if you're facing Gunther and he's both champions, why would you go after the Intercontinental if you go after the WWE Championship?
I mean, they don't have to relinquish it from him. They don't have to have him take it away.
No, but I'm just, You know what I'm saying though? Like if he was both champions, why would anyone challenge him for the Intercontinental?
Oh, when he has 2 titles. Okay, yes.
So like, why if he had both championships and you're gonna face him, why would you want to face him for the IC belt instead of the World Heavyweight?
Well, I mean, if you're challenging it, but if Nick or Adam Pearce is making a 4-way like we see every month, this is a 4-way for the Intercontinental Championship. I mean, it can be done. I think it can be done. We saw it with Rollins briefly. All for a month. But he held 2 titles, and he had Cena challenge him for the U.S. title, and then Sting challenge him for the WWE title. I mean, you could do it.
You could, but I don't know.
It's tough.
I feel like Drew, you should put it. I think it should be Drew, but...
Hey, listen. Yeah, I wouldn't complain. The guy didn't get his moment in front of fans 4 years ago, full circle. That's under the premise that he resigns, though. I'm not sure if he resigned.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
I don't know. I mean, Gunther, but if he's not facing... You're saying Drew. In your opinion, then what does Gunther do instead? Because Brock's not going to be there.
I have no idea.
And I'm sorry, I will say this before you can even shit on me for it. It will not be Chad Gable. I don't think that's happening. I don't really know who else there is. I mean, it's not Jay would be great, but he's got to face his loser brother instead.
It's not going to be. Yeah, it's not. I mean, unless he drops the belt before, and you have Jimmy and Jay for the Intercontinental Championship, that no one wants to say. Yeah, I don't. I honestly have no idea what else he do with Gunther. I mean.
He's already beaten Bronson Reed.
That's the thing. He's literally the only person he hasn't beat on Raw is Jey Uso, technically.
Yeah. What about Braun Breaker's going to SmackDown? Maybe Andrade. I pitched Andrade. Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
He signed with Raw.
Maybe.
No, I said this a couple weeks ago. I don't know. Maybe Andrade. And then what about what'd you say?
I said maybe.
What about who was the other person I was thinking of? Okay. Well, we talked about this a week or 2 weeks ago. What if the Imperium New Day thing is leading to a Big E return? I don't think it is. But what if we got Big E and Gunther WrestleMania? That'd be sick.
I don't think it's happening, so I'm not going to get invested in it.
Kid's not even entertaining the idea.
I think I like Big E, but I don't know, like, just to have him come back to, like, this, I don't know, I feel like that's, like, malpractice, like, he just comes back after being off injury for how long, I don't know, it's been almost over a year, I think, at this point.
2 years, yeah.
But it's like he just jumps the front of the line and then beats Gunther. No, I don't like that.
All right.